Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Positively Awesome Wrestling Podcast. That's right, you heard it. It is yours truly, the Drip King, Jimmy Bay, and I am joined, as always, with my good buddy, Tidey. How are you doing on this fine evening, sir?
Man, I'm doing real good, Jimmy. Time off of work, somewhat, not really, but enough. And Bobby Lashley is the destroyer of worlds. So I'm good.
Yes, he is the destroyer of worlds. My God. We'll get to that. I'm sure we'll be getting to that a little bit in a little bit. Positive About Sunday, as always. Sarai's first match. Jordan with another incredible match. Props to Lashley, Jay White, Rocky Romero, Kalisto at NXT. The push of Ricky Starks. Thank you very much. Cannot wait for that shit to happen. Seth versus Finn. Ethan Page versus Fendi. There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot of stuff. And there we go. Hello, boys. Hello, David. Thank you for joining us again. But so I guess we're just gonna jump into it. We didn't even discuss off camera what we're gonna discuss on camera. So get ready for the ride, folks. I'll let you go first. What was your favorite part of wrestling from this past week? To me, there was a lot. But for you, what was your number one?
Yeah, there's a lot. Definitely a lot. But I'm getting tired of repeating myself right now. The Bobby Lashley segment, which is really the Seth Rollins segment of 10 years, is I've been in the business segment, and it's been a long time since I had a championship, United States title. This means a lot because of, and then Bobby just, and he's like, oh, bring on the whatever, the stupid thing, open challenge. Bring on the open challenge. Ali is back, man. And I'm like, I'm not mad at it, but it's not.
It's very predictable.
Why are you on the camera, man? It's an open challenge. You come out, something's clearly wrong. And it's Bobby. Bangs his head like 12 times for all we know. Or
Bro, when he yanked him off screen, I was like, who just did that?
I was so happy, man. And then it's Bobby. Bobby looks pissed. And he does everything and says everything that I wanted him to say. He just got back from beating Brock to holy hell as a heel, but I'm okay with that because he jumped him, did all this stuff, broke his little kneesies on the stairs at Crown Jewel. But that's okay because Bobby is clearly pissed as a heel. If he's not a heel, he's pissed. It doesn't matter. You just leave Bobby alone, man. Why do people want to mess with Bobby already?
I was going to ask you that. I was going to, before you go to your next part, I was going to ask you. So you do think he's going heel? You don't think it's just he just snapped?
I think it's interesting to give us another week to think about it.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 weeks. Maybe my Christmas present. I'm okay with that too. I'm really big on Christmas presents, man. I don't get nothing anymore when I got older. Family's in Texas.
No, it doesn't work that way, man. It doesn't work that way. You get more bills.
Yeah, man, that's always
Those
fun.
are the gifts that keep on giving. They don't stop. It's not just once a year. It's every month. So
look at AT&T thinking about me, sending me a letter. What could it be? It's a bill. Damn it.
Yeah.
With Bobby, man, I think it was the perfect thing. You could say it wasn't a clean pen. Lesnar got a clean pen. Even though it was the situation it was, but Lesnar couldn't do anything, but I'm okay with it.
He pinned him clean. I mean, to be fair, he did pin him clean, but
so for me, I'm ecstatic. And why is that? Whether it's Jordan Devlin, Sheamus, Bailey, there's just certain people I see something really big about them, and I'm like, man, if you can tweak something, or if you can put some AAA batteries in this thing somehow, I always know there's something that Bobby can do. And the biggest thing is that Bobby, if he became a heel or if he became just this ridiculous badass who did it his way and said, F the rules, F all this bullshit, everybody's screwing me over, he did it without MVP. And that was the thing beforehand, was like, well, MVP is his mouthpiece, in the Hurt Business. Without that, Bobby's lost. Well, Bobby went face. Bobby got pissed enough, cut a great promo, and whooped two of the biggest dudes' ass relentlessly. And people were too scared to grab. The security's right there. I'm like, just stop him. Stop him. No, he picks up Seth. They're still looking at him, takes a picture, and slams him through the table. Like, they didn't even try to stop him. But
They said, "Go ahead with it, buddy."
So it made me gloriously happy, man, because like I've always seen that, I think he can do it on his own. And sometime he's gonna pick up the right verbiage, he's gonna pick up the right mood, and there's nothing better than a pissed off Bobby Lashley that knows. And the good, he was justified. Seth, it's your fault because Brock faced Lesnar, F5'd me, and then you came out for a title shot. So he was in his right.
Baby. He baited him.
He was in his right to be pissed off. But this is something I've been having a long time coming. I'm waiting for Bobby to convince everybody that when you're watching what he's doing for that, was it last 15 minutes or so, you were like, holy shit, this is the Bobby Hurricane, man. I was so happy. So happy for the destruction of Bobby. So that's my moment, man.
I'll just go on an extension here because I wanted to go with the Bobby, but I was like, I'm pretty sure Tidey's gonna go with the Bobby Lashley.
I want Bobby
because in my thought is that it's a double turn. A lot of people think it's a double turn.
It may not.
Seth babyface, Bobby heel. I like it because Seth organically has become a babyface, and the more and more I see Bobby Lashley these days, the more and more I love him. But I'm also seeing more ruthlessness from him, and I think that's why I'm enjoying him more. So go all in on the ruthless, on the angry Bobby. Let him just destroy and murk people left and right. I love it. Keep his promos short and sweet. That's all they need to be with him because he's doing his talking in the ring. He's going to fight people and he's going to end people. I want to see it. And then I was like, I kind of want to go with the Austin Theory cash in. And I know that sounds very weird because everyone hated it. And I'm going to explain why I liked it. Because at the end of the show, I was left going, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, what did we just witness? Why did they just do that? And I think there's a lot of different ways they can go with stuff. As of right now, I have no idea where Austin Theory lays. Is he still going to be that smarky little heel that he's been playing? Because I don't think you can if you just shit the bed like that. Is he going to go a different route with the heel? Is this going to transform him into a baby face where, he kind of did get screwed because of Bobby. So is he going to go that route? I think there's a lot of ways they could go with it. And I think it was interesting at the very least. And when you can give me something that's interesting, that makes me think and go, what the fuck? But not in a way where it's like, that was just complete horseshit. In a way that makes me go, where are you going with this? I love it. And that's what they did. But before I get to more, for me, it was the Saraya Britt promo. So nice to see her back and so passionate about what she's doing. She loves again. And this was another part of the week that I loved and thought about picking because the promo was phenomenal. And I'm talking about Britt's, not Saraya. Britt ended Saraya. She ended her. And if you haven't seen Tidey, go watch it because Britt would just let me know, like, you ain't shit, Saraya.
I'm writing it down. I gotta get a reminder.
There you go. Write it down. I see a lot of space on there. You can check this one out. I got some stuff for you to check out after this show, too.
It's a page and a half, man. It's like
you got the second half of the page, right? I see it's empty. I got some stuff for you to write down and check out. I got you. This is number one. I got a few things tonight. That's number one. Because Britt, it was so nice because I think Britt, what ended up happening is Britt was so good with her promo that even though she's the heel, the fans were like, damn. And by then, when Saraya tried to do her part, the crowd was kind of trying to get into it, but they were like, yo, no, Britt just ended you. You shouldn't be talking right now. She did have some moments. Saraya did have some moments, but it was the Britt show, in my opinion, there. Bobby heel turn likely leads to the reform of the Hurt Business, especially, and that wouldn't bother me at all. Wouldn't bother me at all. No MVP, though.
What I got to say is, it was another thing that was really cool is that when he grabbed Mustafa Ali's face like this, when he's being that, I think he grabbed like Seth like this a couple of times. He even grabbed Austin Theory. There's nothing like a man just grabbing your face.
It comes across as super villainish to me, man. It's like,
oh my God.
Look here, you little swarmy little shit. I can just crush your head with my palms right now. It's very bad. I love it.
Well, I don't want him in the Hurt Business, though. I mean, I want to see him do his own thing and prove he could do it without MVP.
If MVP wasn't the mouthpiece and he was just leading these dudes and he just had and he didn't have to rely on them for winning, do you have a problem with that? If he continued to be the badass that he is and they were just there because so they could have 6-man matches with the other 3 peoples, like the Bloodline and Hit Row and Legado del Fantasma, things like that. But he still stays true to being that badass. Would you have a problem with that?
Yes. All right. You know, say I'll do it. I'll go on vacation for a while. I'll check out. It's fine. But I'd rather have him, you know, do his thing. I'd rather have him do his thing by himself,
okay.
man.
That's fair. That's fair. But then when I said I'm not going to do the Soraya Britt promo, my thought was I'm going to just do the whole AEW show because I thought the AEW show was flawless from beginning to end. And there you go. David said he just sent you the promo, so you ain't even got to look it up. He got you.
All right. Plug this in. Hold up. Go ahead.
I was going to go with the whole AEW show because, like I said, I thought it was a brilliant show, top to bottom. It was easily the best show of the week for me. It was just that good. They had a little bit of everything. They had a squash match. They had promos. They had some entertainment. They had some really good matches. They had a nice main event. Everything. Top to bottom was beautiful. But at the end of the day, I went with the entire week.
What?
I think I enjoyed Monday. I know some people didn't enjoy Monday. I enjoyed Monday. I really enjoyed Wednesday, and I actually enjoyed Fridays, which is a very 50-50 for me. Sometimes I will, sometimes I won't. And there was no Sammy. So the fact that I enjoyed it with no Sami Zayn, that means it was a really good show.
Wow.
So we had a week of fantastic wrestling. And apparently Impact had, I haven't watched it yet. I got the link for it. I want to watch the Jordan Grace match that she had. Because apparently it was really good. I'll be checking that out. It was just an all-around great week of wrestling. And that's something that I'm excited about. Because I hate that I have to be like, this show was this, but this show. I like it when I could just say, you know what? All week was really good. We had a fantastic week of wrestling. We just broke down a few things. We could break down more if we wanted to. As David pointed out in the beginning, Ricky Starks is about to get a push. And I'm to the... Right there. He holding that AEW title. Hopefully that's what he's going to get, baby. Because I've been waiting for it. That man is absolute, and I'm loving it. I like that he's getting pushed. I like the tournament that they gave us. It wasn't riddled with a bunch of names that we see too much, so I was very happy with that. Ethan Page is getting pushed. I'm happy with that. Let me get this up here real quick. He wasn't on the show, so we'll put him on our show. Our savior, Sami Zayn. Got to get on there somehow. Got to get him on there somehow. But even the Intercontinental title tournament they're doing, that's I like it. The World Cup, and they get the thing for the title shot against Gunther. That's cool. I like they have different. I like the different styles they have in that tournament. Everything about this week of wrestling, there was literally nothing for me to complain about, and that's my thing for the week. I just love that we got an entire week of wrestling that was just beautiful. I love it. I love it so much. And there we go. Thank you. Because my buddy Rich sent it to me. He knows I don't watch Impact, but he knows I like women's wrestling. So he sent me that match this morning and told me to check it out. So I'm definitely checking that out. And so that's my thing for the week. I hope we get more weeks like this. It doesn't happen often where I just watch all three shows and I'm like, that was perfect. Yeah, Rich is good peoples. I don't know about NXT. Maybe you can fill me in real quick. Was NXT good this week? Was it great? Was it just? Please tell me it was great.
Go back and think. I'm thinking about Jordan. Jordan Devlin had a really good match. Who else? I know, man. Got the Irish shirt on here. I'm going to deflect that. To your universe. No, NXT was good. I'm trying to think of anything bad I can think of because I worked a lot this week, so I caught NXT as fast as I could, and then I even watched the Peacock version. That's the full cut, like a day and a half later because they can't just do a day or two. I don't know what the hell they're doing, but
doesn't make sense.
Then I watched SmackDown, but I don't remember having anything to complain about on NXT. I'm trying to think of the big moment.
I know Jordan Devlin had a good match against who was it against? Who do you have? He was like ruthless against him. Who was that?
Probably A-Kid.
Yes, that's it. He was ruthless against that kid. That's right.
Axiom. Oh, that's right. He broke his leg. That's right. He broke his chicken wing, man.
So, see, that's another show. It was just really good NXT, but from what Tidey's saying. So, man, I will never complain about having a good week of wrestling. Like I could have literally said I got one show to watch. I could have picked a show and I would have been happy. So that's what I like to see. Katana and Caden are main roster ready.
That's right. They had that. That was the main event. It was good. It was very good. There was some
little... Oh, that's right, because Zoe Stark turned on Nikita.
Yeah, she did.
And that shot she hit Nikita with was nice. It was crisp with that title. She just said, "Pah!" It was really good.
Zoe's mean, dude. Zoe's strong and mean, and I would not piss her off at all. And you know what? It's too late. Yeah. Nikita's dead, man.
So I'm gonna let you answer this real quick before I do. Who do you want to win this feud?
I'm gonna say Zoe this time because you know what?
Thank you.
What's her face can take a loss or two. She's babyface.
She ain't ready.
Oh man, I'll try harder, but you can't try harder when you just turn heel and you lose.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not.
Nikita ain't ready for that spot.
No. Zoe's been ready in a certain way. Her character's like, I think she makes a way better character because she's already pumped up and pissed. And when she's talking pumped up and pissed in her NXT promos the last 2 weeks, and she's trying to calm her down, it just comes across so natural for her. There's something there in that, so I think they saw it too. It's time to make her a heel.
Bingo.
Zoe's badass, dude.
I tell you a feud that would get me to tune into NXT for sure. Put Zoe and Alba Fire in a feud. I'll tune into that next week for 100%. I won't do it for Zoe's because Nikita is not it. She got a lot of work to do.
Because Zoe back then was getting a lot of push on TV time, and then you think about the two that are really standing out, Zoe and Stratton.
Yeah,
and Stratton's been gone, whatever, but she'll be back soon.
I hope Stratton comes back as a babyface so that she can dethrone Mandy. I think Stratton should be the one to do it. If they're not going to break up Toxic Attraction, which they shouldn't, they should go to the main roster together. I think Tiffany should be the one to do it because Tiffany's been the one that has shown the most improvement in that division. Yeah. I can't. Again, I don't watch it every week. I just kind of tune in and out. But from what I've seen, Tiffany is head and shoulders above everyone else as far as the improvement. Yes. She just has that star quality to her. So I think they should be pulling the trigger on her, putting the title on her, and let Mandy and Toxic Attraction head up to the main roster, do their thing, and let's see what Tiffany Stratton can do with the title. That's what I would do. But
agree.
Yeah. So before we go on to the next part of the show, where we're going to go over some war games, we're going to let me get that real quick. We're going to technical difficulties. I'm sorry, I don't have a producer to help me with this stuff.
Well, good, because I got to prep this note. I got a page and a half of war game, and I can't do it, man. I have to get bullet points.
Can I do this? We're going to go with it. Whatever. David says Stratton has a ton of potential. They have to get her right. They do, and I don't think putting the title on her in NXT is going to harm her in any way. If she was like still really green, which she's not, it would probably do more harm than good. But I think she's ready enough for that NXT show because there are clearly a lot of people who aren't ready. It's not going to hurt Tiffany to be the girl down there. That I don't think there's anybody down there that she would be feuding with that would make her look silly. Because maybe Zoe, but that's
Zoe's a beast.
That's fine. Zoe's going to make a great fight. She's going to make a lot of people look bad. I think she's that good. But before we go to War Games, let everybody know I've created a group because we have no idea what's going on in the world of Twitter. We have no idea what's going to happen to the internet wrestling community of Twitter. So I've created a group for all the people who still do have a Facebook, and I'll put it out there. I don't like Facebook. I don't like it at all. But if I can create a group of a positive wrestling community, which is what I'm trying to do, that's what I'm going to go for. Just in case Twitter goes, I have faith Elon won't let that happen, but who knows? Who knows? So for those who enjoy the content and want a positive wrestling experience, and you have a Facebook, and you don't like all the other groups on Facebook because they suck. I know they suck. I've been in them. They're all terrible. Go check out. Let me pull it up. I can't remember the name of my own group. The Drip King of Wrestling. Oh, my goodness. I lost it already. I just want this group to grow. I want to have positive conversations on Facebook. Drip King of Wrestling. And then the colon. For the love of wrestling. That's RASSLIN. Go check it out. Please and thank you. Because, again, I want to have a group of just positive, of wrestling conversations with people. And I don't really get it on Twitter that much. So let's make it happen on the Facebook group, people, and make Facebook cool again, at least in a group. So with that, and then hold on, let's get these comments real quick. My mouse was charging. He's got a Matt Riddle match for you. If it's PWG, watch it. It's going to be awesome. Drip King, woo woo. I don't know who you are, but thank you, Facebook user. I am in said group. The group is good. Join the group. There you go. David's in the group. So there you go. It's very small at this point. I want to make it grow, though. So that's what it is. There we go. That was Lewis. My man Lewis is watching. Appreciate that, Lewis. Lewis is in the group as well. Lewis is good people. So with that said, we're going to move on to War Games. Now, I will not lie. I really tried to guess which match you were going to pick here. And I thought you were going to go with NXT versus NXT 2.0. So I made sure to watch that one. You didn't. You picked a different one. But before I go with mine, because I knew you were going to go NXT, I went old school. My favorite one, though, is NXT versus NXT 2.0. And I'll just go over it real quick before we go into it, because I took the notes for a reason. I'm not going to do it for nothing. I'll make it quick, though. What I liked about it is there was a reason for the War Games. It wasn't like they just put 4 people in there against 4 people and said fight. It was like the NXT Black and Gold were fighting to stay relevant. They wanted to stay. They didn't want these young guys coming in and showing them up. They wanted to. So there was a legit beef there, and I like that. They started it off with Gargano and Carmelo Hayes, that's a nice glimpse into the future, because that match will slap, as them kids say. I think also in this match, if you didn't know, you found out real quick, Carmelo Hayes is that guy. He is going to be a freaking stud, like Seth Rollins level good. And I think in that match is where I saw it, and I was like, okay, I'll pay attention to Carmelo. We got a DIY reunion, which is always going to be awesome. They did some maneuvers together and all that. They had the moment where they kind of looked at each other, chuckled, and then helped each other. That was a nice little moment. Dexter chasing Trick away was a nice little entertainment spot, because Trick kept getting involved. Dexter climbed out from under the ring and chased his ass away. It was fun. So there's your fun part of the match, instead of on top of the match being really good. And as I said on Twitter, this is the part where I said Braun Breaker. I looked at Braun Breaker and I said, okay, I can see how this guy's the future. I think he's fallen off completely since. I don't watch him every week, but from what I do see, he's not the same guy I saw in this War Games, because that man in War Games was on a mission. And now it's kind of just like he's just going through the motions. Yeah. And Waller, I was iffy on Waller. I thought he was just going to be a Miz kind of guy who talks, but in the ring, the fact that man took a spot through the table off the top rope was like, okay. That right there tells me he's not the Miz, because Miz in a million years ain't taking that spot. No. But then, like, not even 10 minutes later, he was doing an elbow drop off the top of the cage to a table. And I was like, you know what? I'm all in on Grayson Waller. I like what he would do just fine. And I think the story of it was just really, really good. You don't get that many. I don't think you've ever really gotten a story that good with the NXT War Games. I think that was the best one they've had. And when I break you down mine, I'll let you go first. But when I talk about mine, I'm picking mine based on the story that went with it. The match itself was nothing special, but the story was absolutely beautiful. So with that, I wanted to get that one in there because I do think it is my favorite. It is my absolute favorite, but I didn't want to have 2 NXT ones on here. I want to represent WCW a little bit. So with that, I will let you take over. You can tell us your favorite NXT War Games, and you can explain to us why. Because I really dig the one you chose. I thought it was really good.
So 2019, first women's War Games. So, like you said, there was some fun in yours. There was no fun in this one. I mean, like they had. Oh, it's fun in yours, yeah. There's no fun in this one. The women have to prove a point that this is their first War Games, and that's just one thing I love about women's wrestling in general. I mean, whether it's naysayers or saying they can't do the same things, or they can't be as entertaining, they can't be a draw, etc. I dare you go back and watch that War Games. It was some of the most entertaining I've seen in a while, man. Besides Bobby Lashley just railroading everybody. But at the time, So I was trying to go back to the past, to the future, to try to remember what was going on. It was Team Shayna, because Shayna's already a beast. Rhea was coming up, and they were commenting on Rhea just beat, Bailey. Sasha and Charlotte in a triple threat match. What they're saying, I'm trying to remember that. I'm like, crap, when did that happen?
What was it? Was Charlotte, Rhea, and Bianca? No, Charlotte, Rhea, and Io.
But I'm saying it was a 3-way match. That sounds more like it. That sounds
it was,
more familiar.
because that's when Io won the title. She jumped off in your house.
The commentator. But no, at this time, Shayna's still champ. So,
okay.
So I think there was. I need to go back and watch it because that sounds like gold. So Sasha, Charlotte, and Rhea would be badass. So, anyways, Rhea's captain. This is a complete flop on everything that I want to see later. Bianca's a heel, basically. She's working with the heels, man. And she was wrestling like a heel when the first thing she got in there and did. I was like, man, that attitude's a bit different, and I like the way she's doing it and the way she presents a heel.
The gimmick works better as a heel, in my opinion.
Oh, dear God, man, it is gold. And she slammed what's her face? I think it was Candice. She slammed. No, it was Rhea when she came in. She slammed one of them through the. It was Candice. She power bombed her twice. Didn't let go of the lock.
Yeah.
Power bombed her again. Looks like she's going for a third power bomb. Throws her into the cage, and her body just turns into a little accordion as it comes dripping down.
That was definitely Candice.
But that happened like twice in this. Besides, Candice's face was hitting the right. I'll get off that. The reason is underdog. I don't like it when people were injured and they're just taken out of the match out of nowhere. Dakota Kai snaps, and takes out Tegan. She runs out 10 feet ahead, and you think and then she stops for some reason, turns around and magnetically goes right back to her, kicks her head off. Dude.
Coming a mile away though.
Yeah, it just literally. Well, at that point, but I was sure she was coming out. She was running at full speed at first. Anyway, so she bangs her across the thing like 5 times across inside the metal cage. Goes outside, pulls her head into the cage, and Regal's coming out trying to stop it.
Yeah.
Ain't too late, bud. She shoves Regal so hard. I was like, man, you're gonna hurt him, but she don't care. And there's a point, and then she slams the gate like 12 times on her foot. Goes out. She even comes back. She comes back and puts her like in a leg lock with her ankle here and lays down on it.
Yeah.
It's just adding crap to injury. And then she leaves that time. You see Shayna's face. Shayna's smiling. And then Shayna comes out and Shayna's like cheering. And then Shayna's like 1, 2 versus 1, 2, 3, 4 of us. This match is over. And she's strutting. She's doing that thing where she's just cleaning her hands off and she's strutting. And it's awesome. Because in the very beginning of the match, Candice is getting destroyed. She tried to jump through the front middle ropes, go through 2 rings, jump through the rope, go through the middle part, and then meets an Io Shirai forearm. So this is Io Shirai here, of course, heel. She gets her 2 619s. I mean, Candice is getting the business, and it's bad for them because you know who's coming next. It's going to be from Shayna's team. Yeah. What are you going to say?
I was going to say, who was the 4th member? Because you had Shayna, Bianca, Io, and who?
Kaylee Ray.
Okay.
So
I forgot Kaylee Ray was in that for a second. I'll go. Dude, that's a hell of a team. Oh, that's a hell of a team.
Yeah. So Candice, Rhea, Dakota, and Tegan, which Dakota and Tegan didn't even see the ring. So by the time that Rhea's like getting angsty because Candice is getting handled because the second person comes in, which is Bianca, heel Bianca. In this, where's that? It completely destroys her. Anyway, so the tension is there's no way they can win. And I usually don't like that in a match. I'm like, oh, they're just going to get injured. Now the match is over.
Yeah.
They pull some BS off. The whole match is hard hitting. And there's a point where Candice is getting handled in one ring. Rhea's trying to fight back, but Candice does a poison Rana off the top of the actual structure.
It's one of my favorite moves. It's so fucking good.
Kaylee Ray tries to go up and stop Io from up there, and she's going up after Io because Io just did her move and flipped on somebody after getting the backbreaker from Io, which is up and then into a backbreaker, which is devastating. So Candice is like, I'm going to chase her. So she chases her. He's up on the top, stopping her, and here comes Kaylee. Kaylee's just standing up on the top rope. What is she doing? Setting herself up for a poison round is what she's doing, because it leads right. People forget how good Candice is, man. Candice is the
That's a
poison
damn
round from the
shame
top,
too.
and then at this point, you think Kaylee's dead. She goes for the pin. Somebody comes in, knocks her off, and then what's Io doing? She's still up there. She's like crawling along.
She's crazy.
Hands up. Bianca's there with Candice, and they're like, took a second, like, we got to set up for this spot. And they're like, oh, shit, here comes Io. Io does the backflip, hits both of them. So now everybody is dead in there. Like, that side of the ring is now dead. So it really doesn't look too good, man. Anyways, we get towards the end of the match. There's a point where Shayna came in and handcuffed Rhea. That gets broken up. Towards the end, they start setting up chairs in that left side of the ring while everybody else is dead over there.
Yeah.
She puts the handcuffs on Rhea. Rhea takes her handcuffs. She couldn't get the other one on, so she puts it on Shayna.
Yeah. She's like, you ain't going nowhere, little girl.
Start setting up a trash can. Start setting up a trash can on top of the two chairs she's about to try to slam her through. I think Bianca comes. She grabs that trash can, throws it at Bianca. Bianca's just down. And then they start kicking each other. Shayna gets up. She does a roundhouse kick, which puts her hand underneath from behind. What do you know? Riptide. Perfect position.
Riptide. Boom. 1, 2.
Slams her through it. But I'm not going to say a page and a half of blow by blow. But if you were to watch this, you'd probably be like, man, that's important moments. All you got to know is the babyface out of nowhere, they shouldn't have won. They really shouldn't have. But the poison Rana.
It made the heels look weak as shit. But when I look back at it and how awesome Rhea Ripley is, I allow it, honestly. It's one of those ones where I'm like, okay, in hindsight, at the time when it happened, I was like, this is stupid. But in hindsight, I was like, you know what? I'm cool with it. Because Rhea Ripley's a beast. She is a beast. There was nobody in that ring that was hurting her. Rhea's
at that point,
NXT when
she was
2.0. The way she was booked. Rhea was just a monster. So
there wasn't a dull spot in any of it either, man.
No, it wasn't.
It was hard hitting the whole match through. There's point.
It's funny you brought up the Io doing the moonsault off the top of the cage. The next year, it was one of my favorite spots ever in a War Games when she put the trash can on her and she did the moonsault. I was like, man, Io, you crazy as hell. Tidey needs to see the match Candice and Joe. I was about to say, you need to check out some of the matches Candice LeRae has had with the men on the indie circuit.
She was fighting the men?
She goes to war with these men. She had straight death matches with these dudes.
Writing it down. Note taken. Approved.
There you go. This is David and Jimmy saying this to you. I saw one where she was literally, and I'm not into death matches or anything like that. It was just a crazy visual to see. She was I don't remember who she was wrestling, but she was wearing a completely crimson mask. Like, there's no skin shown at all. It's a complete crimson mask from where she got busted open and was just hanging and beating dudes' asses. It's crazy what she used to do on the indie circuit. So you should definitely check some of those out. Let's see. Braun is spinning his wheels on black ice going uphill at the moment. Yeah, I'm not sure what it is. I think he needs a mouthpiece and he just needs to shut up. Nick was talking on the podcast today. They were talking about, and we've said something about it before, Braun and Goldberg. There's the similarities there, but Goldberg was much further ahead. And I don't even agree with that. I think Braun's a much better wrestler than Goldberg was at this point. I think Goldberg just had a better presentation and just more charisma. We got to get something out of Braun to get him there. And because he has good matches. I'm not saying he sucks. He does, because he doesn't suck. There's just something missing with him. And I think he just needs to shut up. He just needs to have a piece.
You told me to go back. I mean, well, you didn't tell me. You were like, hey, this is good. Like, all right. I was tweeting, like, I'll watch it. So I watched a lot of his moves in there, and I think it's like the Bobby Lashley effect. It's like,
I think the way he entered, the way he entered the cage, it was like, okay, I'm ready. I'm here, and I'm ready to just destroy you. And when he grabbed Johnny Gargano by the throat to do his move to him, it was like, dude, that's a killer. That is a kill. That's why I want to see more of Braun. David said at War Games 2 was for him. That's Undisputed Era versus Viking Raiders, War Raiders, if you want to. Dunn and Ricochet, I believe.
Sounds right.
Yeah. That was a good one. And I'm sure it's kind of surprising anybody who's watching. Like, you're not picking an Adam Cole Bebe match? Nope, I'm not picking an Adam Cole Bebe match.
That's what I was thinking.
Bro, I'm a little bit mad with the way they booked those guys in War Games, because I think they won 1 out of 3 or 1 out of 4.
It was something like that. Yeah.
And they're the only group in NXT. They should have been booked better. They should have won more of those matches. Straight up. You can't tell me a bunch of people get thrown together, have more cohesion, and are able to be a unit that is supposed to be the best NXT faction of all time. It doesn't make sense to me. So the matches were fun. I think the winners always sucked. Braun needs his own identity, not Rick. And it's crazy because there's like, they took away the Steiner name, but then he still does the Steiner tendencies. So it's like, pick one. That was the Bucks match. So he sent you the Candice LeRae where she's fighting the Bucks. I think that's one I was talking about. So there's quite a few of them though where she's wrestling dudes and she like hangs. Io Shirai's another one. I saw one where she was wrestling, I think, Penta from AEW down in Lucha Underground. Bro, they did not. They were not nice to Io. He was trying to hurt him. And do you like the Viking Raiders to Tidey? So this was the Viking Raiders before they got vinced.
So that's a very hard question because right now it's so meshed into one big, not a disappointment, but it's like I feel like they keep trying to rebrand them. They were the War Raiders. They were the War something. They went back to the Vikings. Now the Viking Experience, the Viking Raiders. I do like their wrestling. I love it when he knees somebody and screams in their face. I like their wrestling.
They don't have an identity.
The Sarah Logan thing works really well.
Yeah.
Like they have a leader. They're worshiping her. Things are going right. That looks better. I'm really hoping this is it.
Yeah. They took the War out of their name. They made them change the name because they didn't want the name War on their television show because
that makes sense.
Yeah, I understood the name change. The Viking Experience was the first one. It was like you could have said anything else and it would have been better than Viking Experience. Luckily they changed it the next week and it didn't stick, so that was good. It wasn't like they changed it 2 months later. They're like, yeah, we got to change that one. So
we got the Viking dinner course, 3-course Viking meal.
So that's a good one. And he said Asuka and Kana too. Yeah, Asuka was a straight killer before she came to WWE. Okay, so my War Games. We're going all the way back to WCW, baby. 1997, the heights of wrestling to me. This was my glory days. I wish I could just relive them over and over again. It was just so good. Again, the match itself was nothing spectacular, but the story and what's happening within it was just, watching it today, I was just like, just smiling, grinning ear to, I was like, man, this is just still so cool. So to get you up to speed on why the match took place, it's the NWO versus the Four Horsemen in this War Games match. The Four Horsemen, they just had a ceremony a few weeks prior where Arn Anderson had to retire. The enforcer of the Four Horsemen had to retire due to back injury. So at this point, it's Ric Flair, Chris Benoit, Steve Mongo McMichael. And if you've never watched Steve Mongo McMichael, you should definitely check out his botches because they are the best. That man does not know how to run ropes, and it's hilarious. Like, it's.
I think I know who you're talking about. There was a joke about that guy.
So on Instagram, I feel bad from now. Hopefully he's in a bad spot. So, but that's now. I'm talking about then. There's a page on Instagram where it literally is just dedicated to botches, and there's one. I think it's Mongo Monday. They dedicate Mondays to Mongo because of how bad he is. Jeff Jarrett at one point wrestled this man and pulled him down on top of him to pin him because he was too scared to wrestle. He's like, he ain't hurting me. That's how bad Mongo was. So anyways, so Mongo's the third member of the Four Horsemen. Arn retires. He can't wrestle no more. So they introduced Kurt Hennig, Mr. Perfect, if you don't know, as the new enforcer of the Four Horsemen. Cool moment. The next week, NWO mocks it. They make a mockery of it. And it's hilarious. Jot it down. Watch it. It is hilarious. Kevin Nash mocks Four Horsemen. That should be all you have to put in to find it. It's hilarious. Ric Flair did not take too kind of this. So War Games happens. Now, back then they had a roof on the War Games. And Kevin Nash is 7 foot tall. So that presented kind of a problem because there's only like a foot between him and the top of the cage. So prior to this, though, Kurt Hennig, he gets hurt. So they're like, we don't even know if he can wrestle. So they come out. It's Kevin Nash, Six, who is X-Pac, if you didn't know, Conan, who is one of my favorite underrated NWO members, and Buff Bagwell, who was one of my least favorite NWO members. Anyways, but then the Four Horsemen, like I said, Ric Flair, Chris Benoit, Mongo McMichael, and Kurt Hennig, if he can go. They start the match off with Buff and Benoit, which was perfect because nobody liked Buff Bagwell. They wanted to see him get his butt kicked. And at the time, Chris Benoit, I hate using the word vicious with this man, but in the ring, he was a very vicious wrestler, and people wanted to see Buff get hurt. So it was the perfect combo to start. We got to watch Buff get his ass whooped for like 5 minutes, and that's okay. They do a coin toss to see who comes in next. Obviously, the NWO wins. The heels always win these kind of things. So in comes Conan. Chris Benoit immediately starts just taking on both Buff Bagwell and Conan. Like for pretty much half the time, he's just handling them. Numbers finally come in. They get the advantage. After that, we get who comes in next? Oh, Mongo comes in. The way he's running in is just, it's comedy every time. And then Six comes in, and the match goes like a War Games match goes. So at this time, after Six comes in, out comes Kurt Hennig and his arms in a sling. And it looks like he goes over to Ric Flair and hands him something. Timer goes off. Ric Flair goes in. He starts taking out everybody. This is prime. Oh, it's not prime Ric Flair, but what he was doing was very relatable to prime Ric Flair. He just went in and was just taking care of business, looking like a champ, looking like Ric Flair. So then Nash is next. He comes in. So it's 4 against 3. We're still waiting for that fourth member to come in. Oh, what the heck just happened here? So, sorry. So, as this is happening, Nash is taking care of business. He's the big guy. He's throwing people around, using the cage, throwing them in the cage, doing this. Then the bell rings, and it's time for Kurt Hennig to come in. It's like, he can't go in there. He's got a broken arm or whatever. His arm is literally still in a sling. So he comes in the ring. He goes in. He don't care. He goes in. He immediately takes the sling off. He ain't hurt. He's got 2 handcuffs. He's ready to do some business. He goes over to Kevin Nash, who's got his back to him because he's beating somebody. He grabs Kevin Nash by the shoulder, throws him out of the way, and attacks the Four Horsemen. So we now have a 5-on-3 situation, the commentary sells it perfectly. Because they're like, this son of a bitch, the NWO has done it again, because this is what NWO did back in the day. They literally just convinced everybody to join them so that they never were on the losing end of a numbers game. So then they take the handcuffs. They handcuff Chris Benoit to the cage. They handcuff Mongo McMichael to the cage. And they just start beating the holy piss out of Ric Flair. And being a person who never gave a single crap about Ric Flair growing up, I loved every second of it. Chris Benoit is literally got his feet on the cage like this, trying to break free of the handcuff. He's selling it like a G. Mongo's just over there stomping his feet, screaming like a moron. They go to powerbomb Ric Flair, but like I said, there's a foot between Kevin Nash's head and so he can't pick him up for a powerbomb. They have to go underneath Rick and hold him, and then they drop him for a powerbomb. It was crazy. And then they're like, back then you had to say I quit to win. So they're like, come on, quit, or we're just going to keep whooping Rick's ass. And then Chris Benoit's like, screw you. And he's spitting on him and all of refuses to quit. So they take Ric Flair's over to the cage. They stick his head in the cage, and they said, this is your last chance, or we're going to guillotine the Nature Boy. And then you hear Mongo's like, we're done. Stop it. You guys win. So they're like, stop it. Bell rings, NWO wins. But you know how the bad guys do it. And they slam the cage on Ric Flair's head anyway.
That's awesome.
And he just starts. And I watched it today as a kid. I'm like, they clearly I don't know how they did this without really smacking that cage into Rick's head. That's how legit it looked. So the camera angle they had was beautiful. How they did it was marvelous because I legit think he took that bump and it was a nasty one. And then what's the heck is this?
Was the blood pouring down?
There was blood. It wasn't pouring down.
Okay.
Because it caught him like here.
Ah.
And you could see him kind of pulling his head in as the cage hit. That's why I really think they hit him with it, because there was no like tricks. It looked like they were just trying to do it with timing. But they beat the piss out of Ric Flair, and it was awesome. They pulled one over on the Four Horsemen. The NWO looked stronger and stronger. Dave here says they had 108 members at the same time. I don't even care. That was the point of the NWO. They were there to take over, and that's what they did. They literally took over. And it was the story of it was so cool. Watching it today just took me back when I was a kid, when I loved the NWO so much. They were assholes, and I was like, I love it. Chris Benoit, like I said, seeing him try and break free of the thing was just wild, because like he really was trying to break that. If something would have happened on accident, he probably would have broke his neck from how far back he was straining to try and break free. It was really, he sold it. Commentary, this line stuck with me. Like this is how well they were selling it, because they were pissed. They were so mad. They're like, somebody come out here to save them, but they can't because the door's locked. And they can't lift up the cage, because if they lift up the cage, they're just going to rip these guys' arms out of their socket. They've literally devised this master plan to destroy Ric Flair, and nobody can save him. And it was great. I think that's all I had on it. It was beautiful. I just loved it so much.
Well, I feel like I relived it. That was awesome.
It was very funny to watch today. Again, I just absolutely loved him too. So that's what it was. What else was I about to say? I was about to say something else about it. I can't remember. Maybe David can rehash me on this. I'm pretty sure that was the end of the Four Horsemen too. I don't think there was ever another iteration of the Four Horsemen after that. I think they were done and disbanded. And if that's the case, that makes that moment even cooler, because the Four Horsemen was like the first like major successful stable, I think. I don't think there's been a stable. There was a stable before Four Horsemen that was as significant, and they lasted a pretty good time. And the NWO said, "We're number one now." They killed it. They destroyed Ric Flair. It was awesome.
But like it was like 20 or 30 years, because I was thinking like I was seeing this go on like mid 80s or something. I watch old film, and
I think they
mid 80s.
I think it was the first half of the 80s where the Four Horsemen came about, and I want to say 97 at this War Games is where it officially got ended. I'm sure they tried to be like Four Horsemen for life after that, but no, it was dead. They destroyed the Four Horsemen when he slammed Ric Flair's head in the cell. If you've never watched it, people, go check it out. It's entertaining AF, 100%. Jimmy and Bebe approval stamp on that one. But again, I picked that one because I didn't want to have two NXT ones. The NXT 2.0 one is my absolute favorite. But that's that. That's War Games. I'm very much looking forward to this year's War Games. So we talked about it the other day. I'll get your take. Who do you think is the fifth member to join the Brawling Brutes and Drew to take on the Bloodline?
Kevin Owens.
Yeah, that's the general consensus. It's Kevin Owens.
Yeah, but I can't think of anybody else on SmackDown. Well, Sheamus is back, of course, so I can't.
So he's part of it, though. It was Sheamus. Yeah. It's Sheamus, Ridge, Butch, and Drew.
I don't want to see Ricochet.
They need a fifth one.
But and the Kevin Owens one. I would say Kevin Owens would be fitting, because you said like before, like seeing the two friends fight, opposite sides, Sami Zayn, him.
Kevin calling Roman out a few months ago. You got to follow up on that.
And Seth is busy, so.
Yeah. So if you're going to follow up with the Kevin stuff, and they've teased a few things with him and Sammy backstage, so it definitely makes sense. And so, and I said I thought this would have been a good way to take a title off of Roman. I don't think they'll go that route though, but I do think the Bloodline needs to lose to kind of get things going. And I think if you have Kevin Owens in this match, and he pins Sami Zayn, that's going to set Roman Reigns into a downward spiral. Like, yo,
Yeah.
Sammy, what was that about? Like, and you're gonna get some very, very interesting television moving forward.
You taking it easy on your friend, or you working for the bloodline?
Yes. See, you got it.
I felt like you just weren't fighting out there. Damn it.
Maybe Paul. We don't want that. They could just get me to do it. War Games. I can do it pretty damn good. As long as you don't get Bianca Belair to ever say it again. Holy shit.
No, that was bad.
Arn Anderson, Benoit, Malenko, Flair, and Steve McMichael. So they did come back a few months later. It didn't last long, though. I don't remember that one at all. Dean Malenko. That's a wild name to put in there. They have to start showing chinks, and it's the perfect time to do it. Like, again, with Royal Rumble coming up and the Elimination Chamber and WrestleMania, you got to start doing it now to make things interesting. And I think that's a really good way to do it. They might go the I Quit route though, because Triple H loves that old stuff. So he might make it an I Quit thing, and having Sammy quit instead of getting pinned would be even more significant.
Oh no!
He goes, "You what? You said I quit for your boy?"
So I have a question for you then. If since people are like on the weekly thing, Wrestle Buddy, people are talking about like, well, who's good enough for Roman? I know me and you, we would like to see Sammy. Definitely, because I think the writing's on the wall. If you haven't been listening to the crowd or watching a show, then you wouldn't think that. But if you have, I mean, you know, Canada and Elimination Chamber, like you said, that sounds awesome. But what is, and then people are like, well, he's not. And then I hear enough people saying, well, he's not the criteria. Can you please explain to these lovely audience people out here in the world of the internets, what is the damn criteria? Because I'm sick of defending people that I think should be getting that top shot.
So long ago, in the land of giants, we became accustomed to seeing these people who were ironclad, just muscle-bound freakazoids like Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns and The Rock and Triple H, and just name John Cena, Batista. I could keep going. Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan, all these guys, what do they all have in common? They all look like they're chiseled out of stone. That's the look. You have to be a big dude and a badass, which is why the Undertaker, he's not chiseled out of stone, but he's a big guy who is a badass. There's a few that have broken the mold over the years. First and foremost, there might have been someone before. I can't think off the top of my head, so I'll just go with Mick Foley as the one that kind of broke the mold in my eyes. Like, I saw Mick Foley win it, and I was like, okay, that guy looks a lot different than all these other guys. Yeah. It was very cool to see that. It happened because Mick got over organically. The fans forced them to put that title on him. Yeah. Back to the whole, when Kenny was running shit in AEW, they had to start slowly showing that he was weak, so that when he lost, it was like, well, yeah, the ride's over for him. But back to the thing. So there's always been these guys who kind of organically got over, and they had to break through the mold because they don't fit what we're accustomed to seeing as the champion. Yeah. With Triple H in charge, I don't think that idea sticks, because in NXT, that's not how he booked things. And he likes to pull people from the indies, which a lot of people hate, but it's like, if he can get someone from the indies like Adam Cole, why are you mad? Because Adam Cole's the shit. But other people that fit that mold of Mick Foley was Daniel Bryan. He's Daniel Bryan in the WWE. So he's not the guy. And you saw them. I don't think that was all story. I think they were literally trying to just kind of kill the momentum because they didn't want to put the title on. They didn't think it would work. But the fans forced their hands. CM Punk had a little bit to do with that when he quit. They had to change some things around, and the Daniel Bryan thing kind of blew up even more. Daniel Bryan got his moment, and then they were like, wait a second. Okay, Daniel Bryan does fit the mold. But it's crazy that when someone finally shows them that the outsider, the non-traditional looking champion breaks the mold, as soon as he does it, they like shut the door and say, okay, there's no more though that can fit that mold. few years go by, and then what happens? Kofi Kingston breaks the mold, and it's like, okay, but we're gonna shut the door because this can never happen again. And now we're seeing it again with Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn wasn't pushed to the moon. He wasn't given all these tools to succeed.
Not
He
at all.
took every second of TV he had and he made it work. When people were mad that they wanted to bring in Adam Cole as Keith Lee's manager, yes, it was a very stupid idea. Sami Zayn was given the same task for Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro. They brought him back from injury and said, we want you to be a manager. And instead of throwing a fit, or he just made it work. And he grew from there. And we've literally been watching him since he came back as that manager grow from this guy who's just dancing around and thinking, yeah, he's a good wrestler, but he'll never be anything, to this thing where it's like he's getting cheered over Roman Reigns. You can't ignore it. You just can't. I don't care if people think he doesn't have the look. I don't care if people are stupid enough to try and tell me he's not good enough. I've seen the man. I know he's good enough.
Yeah.
He can have a match with anybody, and it's going to be entertaining AF. He's one of those people I don't watch him, and I can't think of a match he's had that I thought was bad.
No, it doesn't exist.
Even in his program with Bobby Lashley, where the shit was just so cringe, it wasn't cringe because of him. It was cringe because of what they gave him. Sami Zayn is the next mold breaker, and I hope that I have a lot of faith in Triple H here. When Sami breaks the mold, the door will be left wide open, and we're going to get more people that are deserving of these runs that would have never got those opportunities because they don't fit that mold. Kevin Owens did it too, but I think that was
more forced. The story.
It was a reactionary to the fact that Seth got injured and then Finn had already been in, so they had to do something.
Yeah, Triple H did the pedigree. Yeah.
So I think Triple H really pushed hard for that one, and that's why. But we've never seen it since. So they shut the door on Kevin Owens after that, and I think that was a damn shame. Let's see, what's it say? I think Paul's in a spot where what he wants to book and put out there and what he can are not exactly the same thing. So he's trying to find out what the balance is. I don't imagine it's easy either. And since he's still in the early stages of this takeover, he's going to have to fight a little bit harder than he probably should have to. I don't see him having that much trouble a year from now. I think once WrestleMania goes off and it's the success that it will be, and I'll go ahead and say I don't see Triple H failing on his first WrestleMania. I just refuse to believe it. Based on what I've seen him do in the past, I have no reason to believe he's going to. He's going to put everything he can into making this WrestleMania as awesome as possible. And I think once that happens and they can kind of see his vision and have a clear idea of where he wants to go and will do, I think they'll kind of take the handcuffs off and say, okay, you don't have to fight as hard for these things, Paul, like Sami Zayn winning the – he's probably fighting really hard for that one. He's definitely fighting for that. Sammy's a Triple H guy. He's definitely fighting for that. But I don't think you can ignore the organic. You can never ignore the fans when the reaction is this high. You just can't. And that's why I'm so dead set on Sami Zayn winning one of those titles, at least one of those titles of Elimination Chamber. It's crazy to think that won't happen. It's in his hometown. He's the most over person in the world. Roman Reigns has to end. Roman Reigns' reign, God, that's hard to say, has to end soon. Sammy's the guy. If Sammy's not the guy and they do it with Cody, I get it. I won't complain one bit. I get it 100%. There's a few names, though, that I think if it's Gunther, I wouldn't even be upset with that either.
Me neither.
I think they could turn if they keep the belt on Roman past Mania and they turn him babyface. Gunther is a guy that I can see dethroning him because Triple H loves Gunther.
Oh my God!
And it would make Gunther look like a just monster of a man to dethrone that man. So I think there are other options besides Sami. I just think Sami's the one that makes the most sense. No matter how many people want to try and ignore or deny it. If you deny it, you're not watching the show.
No,
and it's not what WWE is booking. It's just what's happening. The fans are telling you right now, Sami Zayn is our guy. I don't care that he doesn't look like John Cena and Hulk Hogan. He's our guy.
Now, can I say, so I showed my roommate the WrestleMania, the Yeselmania, and I showed her the crowd as they were going crazy for Daniel Bryan as he came in. And she's like, what is this? I was like, the fans made this happen. You don't understand. This is like groundbreaking shit.
It was
Like,
amazing.
and like this shouldn't have happened. And I swear they got him fighting like 3 people and shit. And like this is something different. And then she got it. She was like, oh, that's really cool. So like the fans are the one that kind of forced hands. Like, yeah, that's also part of the story in a sense of them holding him down. Kofi, same thing. Vince, what did Vince do with Kofi? Completely tried to hold him down. Yeah. This ain't happening with Sammy. Things are getting done differently. Sammy's getting airtime all the time, and he's cool, and he's practically Uzi. So,
I think the main difference between the Daniel Bryan, Sami Zayn, and Kofi Kingston one is the Daniel Bryan and Sami Zayn one. The only difference is Daniel Bryan had that really just nice, catchy thing to do. Yeah. Fans love participating.
And so he's the little guy.
If they have things to participate with, they're going to participate. And when he's over like that, it's just going to catch like wildfire. That's the only difference between Daniel Bryan and Sami Zayn. I think Sami is just as over as he was. That's going to sound crazy when you look at the crowd reactions, but I think I just broke it down for you. If there's something like the Acclaim are so over, and they are good. I'm not shitting on them. I love the Acclaim. Everyone loves the Acclaim. But if they didn't have this Scissor Me Daddy thing for the fans to do with them, it wouldn't come across as being over as they were. I think
that's
they
still
would
came
be.
From?
Yeah, Scissor Me Daddy ass.
I didn't know what that came from. Now I get
it.
All right.
Yeah. So, but it's when you have something to do with like the fans can participate with, it's just going to come across as you're more over than the next guy. But Sami Zayn's over. They're literally he's not on the show, and they're like, "Ooh, see, we want. Where is Sammy?" Like,
you said you enjoyed the week. But I did feel, and I enjoyed the week too. But I did feel like, oh, maybe he'll be on. Oh, he's not on Raw. They said he's busy. Oh, maybe on SmackDown. I was like, oh, he's not.
The
here.
Fact that the fans chanted for him during the Bloodline segment made me be okay with it, because it's like Sammy's not there, but everyone still wants to see him. So there's no momentum being pulled from him. It's still right there. He's riding that wave, and it's all good. And if I answered your question, there you go. If I didn't, I'm sorry. I tried.
Well.
Yeah.
Mold, breaking mold.
Yeah.
Big dudes, and every now and then somebody organically gets over. Y'all can shove it, internets. Saying
yes,
Sammy ain't
for real.
Enough. Kevin's run
at the time was more of a we're in a bind. That's a shame. But I will say he had a great run. I hate that the way it ended because it was bullshit. It should never happen that way. I'm not going to say the man's name on my podcast because I don't like him anymore. But Oldberg, you piece of crap, he ruined that one. He ruined that run. I think it's a bigger shame that he never had another opportunity. I think that's the bigger shame with Kevin Owens.
That was in his interview. He does want that second one. He said if he gets it, he wants to enjoy the second one if he does.
I think we got that one. Oh no, I think Paul's in a spot where he wants to book and put out there. So he's trying. Oh no, he's trying to find the balance. Yes. Here we go. This is the one. Right now, I see little hints of NXT and hints of Vince. He has to find that balance. I think he has a pretty good balance. I think he's still trying to figure out who's going to work and who's not going to work. That's why I don't care that he's bringing back all these people that were released, because a lot of those were his people, and Vince ruined them. So he wants to bring them back for his show to see who's going to fit, who's going to work. He wants to give them opportunities that they weren't given before. So I'm all for that. And I think once he finds the pieces that he needs to go into the next step, I think it's just going to take off. He's still putting up entertaining programming to me, though. I love everything I watch. Most of that. On Raw, I love most of it. SmackDown's still 50-50, but they're getting better as well. Again, I think that's what that you're seeing the hints of. He's looking for the balance. You can see he's looking for the balance, but I do think that has more to do with the fact that he's trying to get his roster in place. Because his roster was completely butchered by Vince. So I don't mind all the women he's bringing back, because I think the women's division could use a lot more women to make it more.
Sarah Logan, she never got a chance. She after a certain point, it was like there was Ruby and there was Liv, and what happened to Sarah?
Yeah.
Right now she's coming out of this Viking thing that got the paint all over her face.
And the internet is mad about that one too.
I'm okay with it, man. I'm gonna see where it goes because you got to kind of save your.
They're mad that she stole someone's. They're mad because she stole someone's look. That's what they're mad about. But everyone copies everybody. I don't know enough about Max the Impaler to know, and that's who they say she stole from. And maybe she did. I'm not saying she didn't. I'm not crapping on Max the Impaler. I will say that a lot of people borrow things from other people all the time. That they steal it, borrow, whatever you want to call it. It just is what it is. That's the nature of the business. Unfortunately, I guess if anything, kind of just be not ecstatic, but flattered that someone thought your shit was cool enough to be like, all right, well, I kind of want to make my own version of it. She can be the Wish version. Who cares? I'll see where it goes. I don't care. I see other people get mad. I just had to bring it up. He needs a year on the job to really gauge what kind of booker he is. And that's why I say after Mania. I think he does put on a fantastic Mania. And I think after Mania, you're going to see I don't think it's going to take the full year. I think at Mania, because we've seen what he does in NXT. We know what kind of booker he is. It's just he has to kind of find his spot. And I think by WrestleMania, he'll have that spot. Megan was on the roster for the entire, and that was a Vince thing. And that's why I'm not mad she came back. She never got a real opportunity on the main roster. She's good. She's definitely good. She has a nice swagger.
They're talking about a push. They're pushing her with AJ.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, she's getting a moment. Spot. Yeah. So I'm not mad that I saw people like, oh, is Triple H ever going to stop bringing people back? You were mad when you got rid of all these people. Now Triple H is bringing them back, and he's going to use them. That's my thing. Is like he's going to use them. I got rid of that picture today. I can't put it up, babe. Damn. She says Brock got a tractor for SummerSlam due to his booking. That's right. Triple H booked something so cool that Brock got a free tractor out of it. That's what he's doing on his free time. He's driving that tractor around his farm. So with that, we're going to cut it. We passed the hour limit. I'm trying to get it back down to an hour, people. Last week we went crazy. That'll never happen again. I'm not going that late again. 10 minutes I'm okay with. So with that, I will plug one more time. Go check out the Facebook group, Drip King of Wrestling. I don't forgot the name of the thing again. I'm an idiot. I am so dumb. For the love of wrestling, RASSLIN. Come and talk good. Nobody's gonna be assholes in there. If they are, I boot them. Y'all know how I do on the podcast. I mute and boot all the time. I'll boot people from being assholes in my group. We just want to have fun and talk good wrestling. So go there. We can do that. You don't have to worry about the toxicity of Twitter all the time. On top of that, Raw recaps. Check them out on Mondays. I will be back tomorrow. Boom. Do that for sure. And if you haven't done so now, the Buddy Wars is over with.
The belt.
Recognize me. You know the drill. I'm the champ. El Americano Nightmare filled in for me nicely. He handed the title over to me. He's a nice guy. He'll be filling in next season. Because I refuse to do that crap again after they conspired against me. But if you haven't checked out the finale, the quiz, go check it out now. It's very entertaining. I enjoyed it. I was trying to make it very fun for you guys. So I appreciate the feedback if you do watch it. Let me know what you think. I know you're gonna get a kick out of it though, because it was funny as fuck. And Geek Buddy, check out the Geek Buddy channel. It's a sister of Wrestle Buddy. I just did a Black Panther review on there. We do Indian movie reactions all the time. They're very fun. Go check that out. And obviously, thegeekbuddy.com. We got stuff on there as well. So check that out if you're into some movies, TV shows, video games, anime, all the good entertainment stuff. And of course, as always, WrestleBuddy.com and WrestleBuddy on YouTube. Got a plethora of things for you to watch. So that's everything. That's my plugs. Tidey, if you got anything you want to take it home with, let it be known, let it be heard. Tell them what's up.
All right. So right now, me as a fan, I go on Twitter. I interact with people. It's been Jimmy's one of the first. There's Courtney, there's Dave, Wrestle Buddy. It's been very different than regular Twitter, so I was easier to gravitate towards you guys. They're mostly positive, but whether it's their articles. I just want to get on and share my thoughts without being blasted for anything. As long as I try to keep it positive, I try to. But it's been the one place I go out to geek for the longest time. It's on my Twitter page. This Wrestle Buddy is where I geek. Jimmy Bebe is the king. But
thank you.
I've been saying it for a while, man. This is my place, this is my home. So I appreciate you letting me do this with you. And
absolutely, I appreciate you. I appreciate you joining me every week, man.
Yeah, Wrestle Buddy's been the coolest place that I've been able to go on Twitter. Besides Free Mind, whatever Jay Carson, whatever his name is, he's pretty cool dude.
Another good. He's a good dude. He's just there to just
chat. He's enjoying wrestling.
Yeah.
He's just enjoying wrestling.
He's just
retweeting everything that's cool. Yeah. So yeah, people check out Wrestle Buddy. It's a good home for just regular people who want to talk just basic wrestling, and you ain't gonna get harassed for it. I'm just a guy who likes to talk wrestling, and luckily I get to sit here and talk with Jimmy about it.
Tidey's a good. See, that's what I like. I like good fans like Tidey, and then when you're a good fan, I'll do this kind of. I'll talk shit with Tidey all day. I like the positive wrestling fans. I want more of them. That's kind of why I did the Facebook group, because even on Twitter, even with the positive community you still got those snakes that slither in there and kind of just drop a bomb on people sometimes. So it's like, I want to avoid that. I do. I want to avoid it if I can. And again, I don't know how much longer Twitter is going to be around. So I hope it stays around. I really do. I do enjoy Twitter for the most part. But man, some days it drives me crazy. But with that, I will say, I told you what to check out. I told you what to do. Go do that. And if you haven't subscribed to me yet, what's up with that? Get your butt up there. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell button. You'll never miss another show. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow on the Wrestle Buddy channel for the Raw recap. Laters.